Have you ever laughed at someone because they mispronounced a word or had an accent not considered posh? Or did you say something that was cause for mirth because your accent wasn't sophisticated? Like, did you say Kokaa Kolaa instead of Coke? Or say Amreeka instead of America? If you did, were you a victim or a perpetrator of racism? Most of us have done both. Making fun of someone's accent can be termed as a form of discrimination or prejudice. But whether it constitutes racism depends on the context and intention behind the mockery. The British Prime Minister Rishi Sunak, in an interview with ITV News, recalled his experiences with racism as a child, saying that his parents wanted him to speak without an accent. His comments have sparked a massive storm on social media in the UK and also evoked some interest in India because many in India have faced similar experiences with their accent. In the UK, Sunak's detractors criticized him that he probably has a parallel universe perspective. Also, many think that wealthy and powerful people face no racism, intended or otherwise. This is Quick Take, your quick guide. I'm Smita Prakash. Rishi Sunak shared how his parents were determined that he should fit in and speak without an accent, even sent him for extra drama lessons. He said, and I quote, "It's hard not to be right, and obviously I experienced racism as a kid," unquote. Sunak also recalled hearing slurs directed at his younger siblings, emphasizing that racism stings and hurts in a way that other things don't. He added that what he experienced would not happen to his children now. Rishi Sunak is the youngest British Prime Minister in 210 years and also the first Hindu Prime Minister of Indian heritage in the UK. Sunak said, and I quote, "I think any form of racism is simply unacceptable and that most people look to the UK as an example of how to get this right," unquote. Now, this experience is something so common in India that one doesn't even know where to begin. The South Indian accent has been mocked ever so much by the Bombay film industry. Expat Indians are familiar being mocked for their Indian bobbing of head and speaking in the Apu accent. Yes, that Simpsons character. Since 1990, Hank Azaria, who's white, made famous a stereotyped Indian accent of Apu, the owner of a convenience store. Sunak's in-laws are the Indian millionaire entrepreneurs Narayan Murthy and Sudha Murthy, who are richer than King Charles. But when they visit the UK, their very obvious South Indian accents would be observed, not mocked openly in all likelihood because they are wealthy now, but certainly found different. Anti-Brexit campaigner Gina Miller hit out at Sunak, claiming that he lives in a parallel universe where he and his children are shielded from the rising racism and hatred. Gina Miller urged him to step out of his bubble, citing a report that highlights over a third of people from minority groups experiencing racist assaults. A presenter on LBC News added, "How dare you gaslight your own people?" But Sunak's narrative strikes a chord, not only with Indians abroad, but also with those residing in India. The expectation from parents for their children to fit in transcends borders. Rishi Sunak reflected on the pressure he and his siblings faced to assimilate into British culture, including speaking without an accent. The desire often stems from a deep-rooted belief that shedding accents can pave the way for societal acceptance and success. And yes, racism is a pervasive and unfortunate reality that persists in various forms across the globe. Generally, what is perceived as racism is prejudice, discrimination, or antagonism directed against someone of a different race, based on the belief that one's own race is superior. If making fun of someone's accent is done with the intention of demeaning or belittling him or her because of his or her race or ethnicity, then it could be considered a form of racism. Thank you for watching. Jai Hind.